My name's Adam Manaka and I'm the Financial Controller for Hi-Tech Oils. With our national capacity, we can now service Australian companies nationwide. Of late, we have now expanded into the New Zealand market. Here at Hi-Tech Oils, we receive premium base oils and premium additive packs. Together, with our highly trained staff, we manufacture over 500 premium quality products. Hi-Tech Oils is Australian made and Australian owned.
Phillip Island is an easy 90-minute drive from Melbourne. Connected by a bridge to the mainland, it is home to Australia's most popular natural wildlife experience, the Penguin Parade, as well as an abundance of unique natural and inspiring experiences. With a range of seaside villages to explore, enjoy cafe culture with sea views, shopping in boutique stores and a range of health and wellness experiences on offer. The island delivers rejuvenating experiences. Local produce is showcased by passionate restaurateurs, and meet the winemakers at boutique cellar doors. A range of boutique crafted beers are on offer at our local breweries. Discover Golden Bay beaches and majestic ocean surfing reserves that an island escape delivers. Stay a few days, a week, or discover more at visitphillipisland.com. There's more racing action on track than just the International Challenge races at the 26th Annual International Island Classic presented by Visit Phillip Island. 48 other races for racing buffs over the weekend, including the Phil Irving Trophy and the FIM Oceania Historic Road Race Cup, featuring classes from the 500 Forgotten Era, 350 Forgotten Era, 500 New Era and Unlimited Forgotten Era classes. Pablo's Motorcycle Tyres New Era Formula 750 class featured Australian racing legend Malcolm Wally Campbell and his son Scott that have been stars in this class over many years riding Honda RC30s.
And those RC30s owned by Peter House, simply immaculate, simply brilliant machines. Scotty Campbell led for most of the races, but Wally, his father, mate, he doesn't get too much slower, lapping pretty much the same as he did all those years ago.
They were also cross-entered in the New Era Formula 1300 class, also sponsored by Pablo's Motorcycle Tyres, where they had to contend with motorcycles boasting up to an extra 500 cc's and including the rampaging Aaron Morris on board the C&M Motorcycles FZR 1000.
Then we have the Shannons 500cc Postclassic race, which some beautiful bits of nostalgia running around here, from European models to the British that we've become accustomed to. But all in all, some magic racing led by Tom Bramage on the unobtainium, basically, patent 500cc machine from 1968. Well, you put your own price on it. We also had the Shannons Insurance 350cc Classic with the old stylers, with the old 4-strokes mixing up with a few of the 2-strokes as well.
In the 350 Post-Classic class, it was the great mix of production and also genuine Grand Prix machinery, where we see the difference between TZs and RD Yamahas out on track. It's the same in the 500cc Classic class, where you had TZ genuine Grand Prix machinery racing against more production-based bikes, both 2-strokes and 4-strokes.
And then the Shannons 500cc Classic class, these are for machines made from 1946 to 1962. Predominantly those old British bangers of the Nortons, the BSAs and the Ariels and the Velisets.
The 500cc New Era class for motorcycles up to 1990 featured both 2- and 4-stroke machinery and was also featured in the FIM Oceania Historic Road Race Cup.
As was the 500cc Forgotten Era machines, who put on some marvellous displays of racing, as well as had very big fields with some guys too keen to get racing underway.
It also featured Tom Bramage, and it was this second class that he raced in that set him up to win the Phil Irving Trophy with a perfect point score of 8 from 8.
And it wasn't only there too, because in the 350cc Forgotten Era, Lachlan Hill had a perfect score of 8 wins from 8 starts to also be an equal point sharing lead in the Phil Irving Trophy alongside Tom, and also a guy that's won it for the 4th time, Levi Day.
Yeah, to win the Phil Irving Trophy these days, you've got to be entered in 2 classes and you've got to be winning all 4 races in both of those classes. Keogh Watson on board bike number 43 was a real standout this weekend as well, riding for Team Western Australia. The 4th and final class making up the FIM Oceania Historic Road Race Cup was the Unlimited Forgotten Era class, once again held across 2 races due to high entry numbers.
And the likes of these big booming Yamahas and Suzukis from a time gone by. 2-strokes versus 4-strokes again, but there's nothing like the sound of a TZ750 on full noise.
And after 16 intense races, it was New Zealand that took out the FIM Oceania Historic Road Race Cup for 2019. International Challenge race number 3 is getting ready to fire into action here at Phillip Island for the 26th running of the International Island Classic presented by Visit Phillip Island. And no better time to visit Phillip Island than the Australia Day weekend. You get to take in all of the attractions and the best classic racing action anywhere in the world at the same time. There's Larry Pegram. They're having a grid strong run so far here, the American team this weekend. Larry Pegram's been on fire, Steve Rapp, but Michael Gilbert is also going incredibly well, and he'll start well on the grid. But Aaron Morris, the man that's 2 from 2, will start from pole position with Josh Hayes and Steve Martin joining him on the front row of the grid.
And then Giles, Martin and Pegram on the second row of the grid. Johnson, Metcher and Ditchburn on the third. Gilbert, Reynolds and Lawrence on the fourth row of the grid.
Then it's Michael Neves, Mark Miller and Dean Orchard, followed by Barrett Long, who's once again been strong and scoring good points for Team America. Steve Rapp and Brendan Wilson, good job for the Kiwis.
And then we've got Quarterly, Webster, Johnny Allen, Scavesbrook, Coots and Donald rounding out the sixth row.
Yeah, Cameron Donald's had a bad luck weekend this weekend. Justin Mellerick doing a great job for Team Australia. Roger Gunn, Pete Byers, your man Jorge Guerrero, Laurie Fife and Matthew Ineson doing a good job as well for Team New Zealand.
And still 34 bikes on the grid with a bit of attrition taking over from the first 2 races yesterday.
On board with Sean Giles, the 3 times Australian Superbike champion, all pumped up this weekend. He's actually got his son to come down and watch this weekend. First time he's actually ever watched his dad race. As we get ready for a start, another tardy start there from Aaron Morris of pole position. But as you said, Braxy, he hasn't been getting the best of starts, but then makes his way back through the field. Who will lead them down in towards turn 1? It's Larry Pegram on board bike number 72 for the Americans.
He was off the line like a bullet, second row of the grid, Pegram. He's really getting his head around this. Oh, Metcher on the exit of turn 1. Big head shake as the rear wheel let go of the bike as he tried to fight for traction as this magnificent field at this magnificent venue heads down through Southern Loop for the first time.
Jed Metcher wasn't the only one to have a big head shake, Braxy, but I think it was Larry Pegram leading the race. He was shaking his head, couldn't believe he was leading them down through turn 1 and turn 2, and he's still leading as they head down towards turn 4, but Jed Metcher has set up camp right on his ducktail.
With Steve Martin getting extra bits of confidence every time he jumps on that bike. We're on board now with Steve Martin on the Beryl Suzuki Katana, but out front, look at this, it's going to be hammer and tongs for the entire 6 laps. Pegram leading the way, the American in front of Jed Metcher from Australia, Steve Martin from Australia, and again Jed Metcher was tipped it on its side through the hay shed, lose a bit of traction as well, and up the inside that was Morris going through Steve Martin. Get out of the way, Sunshine, I'm coming through.
Yeah, I think we had a rider pull off at turn 4. I think that might have been Michael Neves for Team New Zealand as well. So Pegram still leads them down in towards turn 10. Metcher safely through. That was the scene of his incident last time out.
And where's Josh Hayes gone? A guy that's been regularly up the front in the previous 2 races. Looks like he's dropped off the pace a bit. He didn't look too comfortable on the grid. But look at the VP Fuels machine of Morris at the moment. Front end fighting for traction. And look at the drive he gets coming onto the straight as he just motors past the T-Rex Honda. Oh, but that Honda's still got some mumbo too, Phil.
How was the on board there?
How's that on board?
They're riding for the same team. Settle down, fellas. We know Australia Day was yesterday. We want to score maximum points, but Morris and Metcher so close down the front straight. And also, Larry Pegram is still leading this race. Steve Martin's in there as well. And who was that right behind? Was that Paul Byrne on board bike number 52? He's well and truly in the mix as well.
Isn't it great to see how strong the Americans have come down this year? Their contingent they brought down, they really mean business. There you see Pegram leading the way. This is the 3rd lap that he's leading this race as he's got the rest of the Aussies right on his tail. And so Martin trying up the inside as well. They're having a look through Metcher. But here comes Aaron Morris on the VP Fuels machine.
Well, you mentioned earlier on in the weekend about Josh Hayes finding his mojo. What about the mojo of the Mojo Yamaha of Larry Pegram on board bike number 72? And that wasn't Paul Byrne that was behind this lead group. It's Davo Johnson, the man that took out the Ken Wootton Trophy last year. They've rectified whatever problem it was with bike number 3, and he's back out there and on a charge, Davo.
I'll tell you what, Aaron Morris just got the short back inside from Jed Metcher as well. Steve Martin on board at the moment. He's got the best view in the house as they head over Lukey Heights. Hard on the brakes coming into MG. Steve Martin tries to move up the inside, grabs a bit of hold, but look at this. We've got 6 bikes in a freight train. Just showing this means competition as we look at the Suzuki replay.
Oh, is that Suzuki replay? I think there's a bit of smoke coming out of Davo Johnson's Tom Dermody, bike number 3 there. Looked like he may have had a bit of a problem. Sean Giles right behind, and Aaron Morris. That was very close racing there, but as you mentioned earlier on, Braxy, this is not a parade lap. This is the hardest classic racing you will see anywhere in the world.
Well, that's graphically demonstrated by the onboard, where you see the front end being twitched, fighting for traction as they come out now. Oh, up through Siberia, hard on the left-hand side of the top. Oh, look at that. Mecha just round the outside, gets the inside line through the hay shed.
Well, desperation with a capital D as we see the riders make their way to the top of the hay shed, but now they're down in towards turn 1. Close your eyes and go through one of the fastest corners. Jed Metzer, corner entry speed into turn 2. Can't quite get around the outside. Steve Martin is lurking with intent on board bike number 99, and also Sean Giles on bike number 19, right on the back of his teammate. We've got 3 Katanas, Braxy, in the top 4. Trevor Birrell and the boys down there in the pits would be over the moon with this performance.
I reckon as that was on board with Aaron Morris, and these guys riding a bit harder than you would on a Sunday morning to get the Sunday papers. Look at this majestic sight. Pegram's still there in front. Aaron Morris, a big puff of smoke was that again from DJ's bar, Davo Johnson's machine.
Yeah, I think
he's dropping off the back of that group at the moment.
Yeah, he had a look behind and saw the big cloud of smoke. I think he may have also found that his boot is a little bit more waterproof than what it was at the start of this race as well.
And also disappearing that we haven't seen at all this race is Josh Hayes. Where is he? He's dropped right down the leaderboard at the moment. I think he's out of the top 10, which is really going to destroy his hopes of taking out the overall point score. He was in such a good position at the start of this race.
And when you have a think about it as well, Aaron Morris for Team Australia now leads from Larry Pegram for Team USA. Then it's Steve Martin, Sean Giles, all getting great points for Team Australia as well. Unfortunately, Davo Johnson's dropped out of the equation, but right behind Sean Giles, we've got Jed Metzer on board bike number 22.
Yeah, he's dropped off the pace from being up there in second position. But that just shows you only one little mistake and you can be back from second to fifth in one fell swoop. Oh, Steve Martin and Larry Pegram side by side. Yamaha versus Suzuki on the drag down Gardner straight into Doohan Corner.
Aaron Morris getting a good jump on the rest of the field there. He's got a great drive onto the straight, and he's managed to pull a couple of bike lengths between this group as we go on board with Larry Pegram now, who's got the most entertaining seat in the house with the 4 Australians right in front. Jed Metzer, once again, elbow down through turn 2.
The body language and the way they ride these bikes belies comprehension sometimes. These bikes are the best part of 30 years old. The riders have probably seen better days, but try and tell that here at Phillip Island. It is just madness as we go hammer and tongs on the 4th lap of this 3rd international challenge here at the International Island Classic. Proudly brought to you by Visit Phillip Island as we go to another Suzuki replay. Just look at the power of these machines as they head down there. We're talking about Pegram. Well, has Pegram got a problem there?
Yeah, I'm not sure because both Steve Martin and Sean Giles seem to make their way past, and then also Jed Metzer taking the outside line through turn 1 as well. But as we go up to the top of Lukey Heights now, it is Steve Martin and Sean Giles closing right back in on the other ducktail of Aaron Morris's machine. When was the last time, Braxy, we saw Katanas 1, 2, 3 in this class, which over the last couple of years has really been the domain of the Formula 1 machines, most notably the Harris chassis?
It's been a while, and it's just allude to that with the fact that when was the last time we saw Steve Martin fighting for the lead? He has really found something this weekend, as you said earlier on in the telecast. He had a bit of a confidence, question mark over himself, but now look at him. We've got the teammates. We've got, 4 Australian championships there. 3 for Sean Giles, as we're on board with him at the moment. Steve Martin, the 1999 Australian Superbike champion, and Aaron Morris, a runner-up in the Australian Supersport Championship as well.
Yeah, Sean Giles is starting to look quite menacing as well as he goes around the outside of Steve Martin and takes up the running in second position. Round through turn 2 now. It is a Katana-a-thon at the front with the Harris Honda of Jed Metzer right behind. Team Australia, 1, 2, 3, 4 at the moment. Larry Pegram doing a good job for Team USA as well. He's dropped off the pace a fraction, but he's still scoring the best points for Team USA.
He's flying the flag by himself at the moment, is Pegram for the USA team. Trying desperately, valiantly trying to hang on to the ducktails of these machines at the front. 3 Hondas, 3 Suzukis, pardon me, then a Honda of Jed Metzer, and then Larry Pegram on the Yamaha. You can just see him on the back as we got Aaron Morris on board as they come up the hill. What a sight as we look back down there at Bass Strait from the rear of Aaron Morris's motorcycle.
Oh, through one of the scariest corners at Phillip Island, the Hayshed corner. What would that be? Flat out in 4th gear on one of these Period 5 machines, Braxley, as they make their way up towards the top of the hill now. I think you'll find closing in on the back of Larry Pegram's machine is his Team USA teammate Michael Gilbert. I've mentioned a couple of times this weekend, he is getting faster and faster every race we head out on track, and don't be surprised to see him up with this lead group very, very shortly if he continues his pace.
Well, it's one thing about this 4.45 kilometre Phillip Island layout. The more laps you do, the more confidence you get in going as fast, because you really need the momentum and speed as on board as we come down Gardner Straight. But look at this quartet of riders as they head down now. They must be getting close to their last lap.
It is the start of the last lap now, and it is Morris that leads from Giles, Martin, and then Jed Metzer. We've got a pretty good gap. Metzer tries to go around the outside of Steve Martin in turn one. That's an equation that I don't think you need a calculator to work out. Is not going to work.
Not with Steve Martin shutting the door and just slamming it, breaking the windows. He slammed it that shut. But the crowd here, the magnificent crowd here at Phillip Island on this Sunday morning, is getting a great exhibition of hard riding and fantastic classic racing, and probably one of the best classic meetings anywhere in the world, at the best venue in the world.
Well, down in towards turn 4, it is still anyone's race here with the top 4. Nothing separating them as they make their way out towards Siberia. That rider doing the right job and getting out of the way, courtesy of the blue flag being waved by the hard-working marshals here at Phillip Island this weekend. But it is really now, it looks like Giles and Martin that are going to have to try and stop the Aaron Morris charge as he's pulled a few bike lengths on the way out of Siberia, riding the wheels off the Corish VP Fuels Suzuki Katana bike number 64.
Well, is it going to be 3 wins from 3 starts from Aaron Morris at the moment? Look at him, Steve Martin around his outside of his teammate. The Birrell brothers will be starting to pull their hair and their beards out, but he goes up the inside to move into second position. Great move by Steve Martin. He's got his mojo back, no doubt about it.
How did he stop it, turn it, and keep the bike on track with the drive? You could also see the way he got the run out of turn 11 as well. He's got a full head of steam now as he comes out onto the straight. Look, you can see the aggression from Steve Martin. He's closed up onto the back of Aaron Morris's machine as well.
What's happened to Morris?
Morris looks like he's missed a gear or something, Braxy, as they've come out onto the straight, because he's essentially hit reverse gear. He'll be lucky to finish 3rd place with Sean Giles on a charge. But Steve Martin takes the win, his first win in an international challenge race for many, many years. And do you reckon he's happy about that?
Well, he'll be probably pinching himself at the moment, Phil, thinking, did I really win that? Because I was coming onto the straight in second position. I think he realises he might have done it.
But I think Aaron Morris must have missed a gear or something through turn 12, because he had a clear lead and then all of a sudden he had no drive. Steve Martin takes the win from Sean Giles and Aaron Morris. Jed Metzer in 4th, Larry Pegram and Michael Gilbert round out the top 6, and a great result for the 2 Americans there to hang on to Team Australia.
Then Steve Rapp making it 5, 6 and 7 for the Americans from Ditchburn. Orchard Reynolds out there rounding out the top 10.
Barrett Long also scoring good points. Jay Lawrence scoring good points for Team New Zealand as well. Dale Quarterly, good to see him inside the top 15 as well. And your man, Jorge Guerrero, the fastest Cuban here this weekend representing Team USA.
And nearly getting into the top 20 for him too. Wow, that was one dynamite race, and we've got one more stanza left of this 4 legs as we look at the highlights, proudly brought to you by Suzuki.
Yeah, great start there it looked like from Josh Hayes, but that was about the last time we saw him at the front, because not long after that he was conspicuous by his absence. What wasn't absent was fast, aggressive racing at the front, with Steve Martin, Jed Metzer, Sean Giles and Larry Pegram leading about the first 3 or 4 laps of the race and having his best race of the weekend so far.
That's a great onboard shot from Jed Metzer. Head under the fairing, and Aaron Morris goes storming past him. Suzuki versus Honda Power.
And that was the end of Dave Johnson on board bike number 3. Smoke billowing from the back of Tom Dermody's bike number 3, the Suzuki Harris machine, as Larry Pegram had to surrender the lead, but it wasn't long. He was back in front again and leading a merry chase up towards the top of Lukey Heights.
He likes playing this game at the International Island Classic, doesn't he? And Morris up the inside. Pegram's just, I thought I saw a shake of his head there going, if you want that badly, son, I'm ready to play.
Well, they say visit Phillip Island, it's naturally playful, and that is exactly what they're doing at the moment as they made their way down in towards turn 1 for the final time. Giles went past Steve Martin and it was all on at the front of the race with the Katanas 1, 2, 3 with Aaron Morris, Sean Giles and Steve Martin out front of this race.
Yeah, and I think the playful mood of these guys is a bit too much for the vast array of spectators here at Phillip Island today. And
as they came out onto the start-finish straight for the final time, Aaron Morris must have missed a gear because Steve Martin, with a full head of steam, went sailing past along with Sean Giles, relegating Morris to 3rd.
Congratulations on your first win here in Phillip Island. You must be feeling really good.
Well, I am feeling good, but I'm a little bit worried that you've stolen my other job at the moment, actually. Well, you know what? It's been a long time since I've been around this track. We didn't really do much practice coming into the weekend, but every time I get on the bike, I'm feeling about 5 years younger. So I'm feeling about 45 at the moment. So hopefully in the race later on today, I can keep it up. But it's such a great feeling to be racing with those guys out there. And not only that, to be on track with all the legends at the same time.
A third place finish in race number 3 sees Aaron Morris hold a slender 5-point lead over 4-time AMA champion Josh Hayes, who is getting faster and faster in his first ever visit to this magnificent Phillip Island circuit.
You know, everybody's watched this race, Grand Prix, World Championship Superbike races on TV from all over the world. Those racers rave about it, so everybody's excited to come check it out. The scenery is amazing, you know, I mean, almost distracting, and that's a bad spot. Turn 1 is a bad spot to be distracted around this place. Fortunately, these things aren't quite as fast as a GP bike and probably not as fast as a World Superbike, so I got a little bit working in my favor, but anytime you have real estate this close to the water, it's usually, you wouldn't think they're gonna put a racetrack there, so it's amazing and awesome that they were able to do that, and I've really enjoyed my time riding around here. It seems to be coming to me pretty quickly. It made sense compared to what I saw on TV, you know? I showed up, I rolled around and go, yep, this looks familiar to me, and so fortunately it's allowed me to help the U.S. team and kind of get in the mix and fight it up with those guys a little bit.
Well, the Aussies are looking for a back-to-back win. I think you might know that. But a lot of people are talking about the threat from Team America. So can you do it this weekend?
Well, I mean, because it's a team effort, it's not just up to me. I'm just hoping that I can do my part. You know, Jason, I think, is really the team leader in here, and he's who brought me to it. He's got the most experience with the bike and with the track and the whole event and how it all works. So, you know, at this point, I don't know much about it. This is my learning experience. We didn't talk a whole lot about it coming into this, and I just want to do my part. So far, we seem to be competitive. I feel like we're a little outgunned and outnumbered a little bit, but go out there and give it the best shot that I got, and hopefully just do my job for the team and let everyone be responsible for their part.
There is no accommodation closer to the action here at the 26th International Island Classic than the trackside campground. Plenty of patrons making their way in to take up their positions and get the best view of racing action here at the 26th International Island Classic, presented by Visit Phillip Island.
Probably the best view you can ever have from your tent. And once you do set up camp, you don't have to leave for the entire weekend. It's all here.
Another highlight of the International Island Classic weekend is the Shannons Parade Lap, where motorcycles of all shapes and sizes from Prix 1990 have the chance for a leisurely tour of the Phillip Island circuit, this year led by Carl Cox on the fastest ever classic bike around the Isle of Man TT circuit.
And it's been a regular feature, well supported by Shannons Insurance over the years, and a great initiative where the average punter gets a chance to go out and have a bit of a steer around this fantastic layout.
Fergus, firstly, congratulations. The 26th year of such a fantastic event, and each year it just gets bigger and better.
Oh, absolutely. It's just amazing the way that this has evolved over a period of time. And going back 26 years, when the event was made up of pre-war, classic and post-classic bikes pretty predominantly, and now we have a complete change. And in fact, we didn't have any pre-wars this year, but we've got a lot of more modern bikes here now.
And David, everyone loves this track. We see riders come here from all over the world. Of course, we've got our locals like Steve Martin, but we also have some really big names come from America, such as Josh Hayes this weekend.
Yeah, so Josh Hayes has joined this year. Jason Pridmore, after last year's race, went home, wanted to take it to the Aussies and went and recruited his own team. So, listening to Josh Hayes and what he's done and, what he wants to do here in Australia, it's really exciting. And the likes of John Reynolds coming out, referring to this track as the best in the world, it's really humbling, but it's really exciting to see these guys come out to Australia and ride Phillip Island.
I think the people who designed this track back in 1956 really got it right, especially for motorcycle racing. Just the transitional corners, the fast transitional corners, the riders love it. The high-speed circuit, it is the highest speed circuit in the world.
David, I love coming here for a race weekend. You must love working here every day at a beautiful circuit.
Yeah, it is. Sometimes you sort of get stuck in the office, but as soon as you step outside into the open air and look out down to Bass Strait and look out over the lake, it is a pretty amazing place to work. And to be able to live in a country like this, to live in a place like Phillip Island, it's really humbling. It's amazing.
Well, it wouldn't be a Phillip Island Classic if we didn't have Ken Lucas, and this is his 28th event. And Ken, we're very happy to have you here this year again.
Look, it's a part of the yearly place we go, and if we don't go, we get very unhappy. And you can't believe how good these people are. I don't know whether it's me and my smile, but they spoil me so much. Fergus Cameron gave me a camping spot down the caravan park. No charge, you know, Ken, and they look after me. It's just, I don't know whether it's because I'm going to be 88 in a week's time or what. I've been around the Isle of Man 5 times, and Daytona. I rode at Daytona when the Britons were over there, and I'm just a spoiled bloody brat. John Surtees was one of my great friends, and when I had a ride in the Isle of Man, John bought a 350 Manx Norton for me to ride. That was at Brands Hatch on a Derek Minner day. Then he put it on the ferry to the island for me, and I rode that. Poor old John's dead now, but he was a gracious man. The most sad thing about poor old John, his son had a son who was just growing up driving a car, race car, and a wheel come off a car and killed John's son. And it's sad things and marvellous things in what we do. But here over this weekend, I'm getting all the help, and I feel bloody spoiled. Yesterday, the wind was that bad going down to Honda, my big Vincent. It started, the wind grabbed the thing, and then it got a big tank slapper. Mind you, only doing 60 mile an hour, and the bloody thing wanted to go up in the gravel, and I wanted to keep it on the black. We struggled there for about 50 yards, but I won.
And you've got a Douglas here as well. Tell us about that Douglas.
Look, that Douglas, I bought it in New Zealand about 30 years ago. I took it to Bathurst, and people won't believe me, but it's in writing. It ran 130 mile an hour through the speed traps at Bathurst. And that's been my love affair for the last 30 years. I win a lot of races on it, it's a pity.
So you've seen plenty of tracks in your time, but your short circuit, what's your favourite short circuit track?
Well, it's got to be Phillip Island. I feel like a spoiled brat, but I enjoy it.
Great to see Ken Lucas here this weekend, and congratulations on the OAM. Very well deserved. A long-time competitor at the International Island Classic, and great to see him here this weekend as well, as we're getting ready now for race number 4, the 4th and final outing for the International Challenge. It is very, very tight in the points, with Team Australia holding a very slender lead over the Team USA team, and then also Team New Zealand not too far behind in 3rd. And Braxy, as we've seen in other years gone by, it is not over until the final flag comes out for race 4. Anything can and will change. This is motorsport. This is the International Island Classic.
And this is classic racing here at Phillip Island, proudly brought to you by Visit Phillip Islands. We go through the grid with Aaron Morris, Josh Hayes and Steve Martin, Sean Giles, Paul Byrne and Larry Pegram, the front 2 rows.
Jed Metzer, who's been fast all weekend out of row 3, along with Craig Ditchburn, who's also been fast on the TZ, Dean Orchard, Michael Gilbert, Al Phillis in there as well. Hopefully he's not starting from pit lane in this one.
Mark Miller again, another one of the Americans in 14. Barrett Long again in 16. Quarterly in 17. So good smattering of Americans at the top half of the field.
Yeah, Duncan Coots, Team New Zealand captain and comedian, has been doing a great job this weekend as well. Roger Gunn back there in position number 25 with Matt Ineson, Joe Pethwood, Campbell Stevenson towards the back of the grid as we get ready. Race number 4 about to get under the way. On board now with the 3-time BSB champion John Reynolds.
Here's the final race for 2019. The revs are building, the heart's starting to pump a bit harder as they get ready for this start. Who's going to get it? It's Josh Hayes. A little bit of a jump from there, Phil, but I think that's not going to come under the scrutiny of the officials. But Josh Hayes willing to make up for the disappointment of that, last race where he finished 14.
Down through turn 1, it is Josh Hayes has got a cracking start. Steve Martin's also got off the line well on board bike number 99. He's all pumped up from his victory in the last race as they make their way round through turn 2. Michael Gilbert on board bike number 55 has also got away well and is there looking to try and charge his way forward.
Josh Hayes showing the talent that took him to 4 AMA championships. Already starting to get out a bit of a lead from Steve Martin. But look at the marauding pack as they go through Stoner Corner for the first time. Metcher sideways. Is he up the inside of Steve Martin, pushing Alex Phillip wide?
Yeah, they were 3 abreast coming into turn 4 on that occasion. And I think the one that missed out a little bit was Aaron Morris right behind as we jump on board. The VP Racing Fuels Katana down through the big left-hander, the heavily banked corner at Siberia, right on the ducktail of Al Phillis' Arnold's Fruit Market machine as we make our way up the hill. Oh, that didn't sound real good.
No, not at all, but a bit of a squiggle on the back wheel from Aaron Morris. But look at Josh Hayes. We're only halfway through the first lap, Phil, and he's got a lead of about 6 or 7 bike lengths over Steve Martin, leading the way for the Australians. But this just shows the quality of this American field that's coming out, and no doubt next year it's just going to lift to another level because there'll be more guys wanting to come down and put their name alongside the American team.
Well, we had an opportunity to talk to Josh Hayes in between races 3 and 4, Braxy. He was very disappointed with that DNF. An electrical problem caused his DNF in race number 3. He was all pumped up. He gave us the thumbs up from the commentary box when he was down there on the grid, and I think this is a fair indication that he is ready to go in race number 4.
Well, the casualty of that was Steve Ratt because they took his bike off him to get all the bits to put on Josh Hayes' machine. But Steve Ratt, being the team man he is, gave it up and has gone up the roof with the masses of other people up there to get a great look as we look at the Suzuki replay coming into turn number 4.
You can see how hard these riders are pushing. Jed Metcher, Steve Martin and also Al Phillis, they're 3 abreast on the Suzuki replay down in towards turn 4.
You saw Al Phillis getting pushed wide there too on that replay.
Morris was actually lucky that he was just far enough behind to avoid the melee as they go in single file this time into turn 4, making it a little bit easier as they come hard out of the corner. It is Al Phillis that leads this 3-bike trio, trying to reel in the 4 times AMA champion Josh Hayes on board the Mojo Yamaha, out of Siberia and up towards the top of the hill. Difference in acceleration between the bikes is negligible, but this is where Jed Metcher seems to carry a lot of corner speed down through the Hayshed corner and then sets him up for a great drive across the top of Lukey Heights.
So Phillis there in 2nd position, but it might be one thing to catch up to Josh Hayes, but try and get around him now that he's in the lead for the first time. And on the process, could be on the way to making history for the first American to win a leg of the International Challenge here at Phillip Island.
Well, as we've mentioned plenty of times this weekend, Braxy, he is the rider in this field that gave up racing most recently. There are some riders out there like Al Phillis that are still racing, but Steve Martin, as he said, he rides competitively once a year at this very meeting. Great to see Larry Pegram doing a good job out there as well. Dean Orchard's also leading his Carl Cox teammate John Reynolds, the 3 times BSB champion, out onto the straight. But look at the speed differential there. The fully faired machine of John Reynolds versus the Katana, which has no aerodynamic efficiency whatsoever.
And you can't get a better sight in racing than that, no matter how fast you're going down Gardner Straight. And look at Bass Strait on such a magnificent day here at this Australia Day weekend for the International Island Classic. But look at these guys. Alex Phillis representing New Zealand on bike number 20. And then it's Jed Metcher leading the way for the Aussies. But up the front we've got Josh Hayes on bike number 4, leading a very merry dance, a determined guy, just showing you how good the talent is in this American field.
Good points for Team Australia with Jed Metcher in 3rd, Steve Martin in 4th, and the points for the Ken Wootton Trophy is going to be very, very close. We'll have a short break and come back on the other side of this for the exciting final conclusion of race 4 in the International Challenge at the 26th Annual International Island Classic presented by Visit Phillip Island. Phillip Island's golden beaches and seaside villages await you as you drive across the bridge to your island escape. Phillip Island boasts world-class surfing reserves and a vast array of wildlife in its natural habitat. Stretches of breathtaking coastline and waterways that you can experience on local charters and get up close to the Australian fur seal colony. Phillip Island boasts a range of accommodation options, including apartments and boutique bed and breakfast accommodation. Take a stroll on bushland trails and enjoy sea views from restaurants and cafes. Indulge in boutique brews and award-winning wines. For the adventurous, challenge yourself on rope adventures or go go-karting on the Scale Replica Circuit. The island has your holiday adventure waiting. Final stages now of International Challenge race number 4 here at the 26th Annual International Island Classic. Josh Hayes is in a very safe lead at the moment, but the positions for 2nd, 3rd, 4th place is extremely close and will go right to the flag. And also the extremely important points for the Ken Wootton Memorial Trophy are up for grabs. Josh Hayes has got a very handy lead, but this battle, Braxy, there is nothing between these 3 riders.
Not at all. It's just going to take a missed gear or just a bit of missed timing for one of them to go forward or backwards. And Josh Hayes, with the position he's in at the moment, with his 3rd and 4th positions in the first 2 opening legs, is going to really rue that 3rd leg disappointment as the battle intensifies for the Ken Wootton Perpetual Trophy for the overall leading point scorer. Is it going to be an Aussie or is it going to be an American?
Well, the other interesting thing is that no Aaron Morris in this lead battle. He is battling at the moment with gearbox gremlins on board the Suzuki Katana. He has only got 3 gears to use, 1st, 2nd and 3rd, so his speed down the start-finish straight is somewhat compromised. The fact that he is lapping in the 38s is a testament to how well Aaron Morris is riding this Katana, and the fact that he's still well inside the top 10 and still in contention for the Ken Wootton Trophy belies belief.
As we go back to our leader, Josh Hayes, going through the hay shed there. The Hayes through the hay shed, that's not a bad one. As Alex Phillips on bike number 20 in 2nd position. Jed Metcher trying to outside line. Is he going to do a dive bomb going into MG corner? He's having a good look, but oh, look at that. Steve Martin was also having a look at him too, Phil. And Metcher has a look around the outside to see where they are as they come out of turn 10 through the copse of turn 11. This all-important drive to get the drag through turn 12 and onto the straight.
Well, Jed Metcher hangs that far off the bike. He can probably see around 2 motorcycles in front of him as they come onto the start-finish straight. And just having a look at the points of the Ken Wootton Trophy, Aaron Morris still holds a very slender lead over Steve Martin if they stay in their current positions. Points can differ by 1 or 2 every time there's an overtaking manoeuvre. It is not going to be over until the checkered flag comes out. Steve Martin at the moment sitting in 4th place. If he gets ahead of these 2, he could go ahead of Aaron Morris.
Well, it's 40 points for the win, 39 and so on, all the way down to 1. Oh, Alex Phillips has done something right there. I tell you, the front wheels just had a bit of a chatter and he stood it up a bit, but he hasn't lost that much drive. But saying that, Jed Metcher's been able to get about a 4 or 5 bike length lead, and look at Steve Martin. He's got that look of determination. He wants to move up the inside. He's not going to be happy sitting in 4th position.
And his teammate Sean Giles back there in 5th position. This would also be the best points for Team New Zealand in an international challenge race for quite some time as well, with Al Phillips up there in 3rd place on the road on board the Arnold's Fruit Market Suzuki Formula 1 Harris machine.
And don't take anything away from the best result for the Americans so far, with Josh Hayes out there by about 3 seconds at the moment over Jed Metcher in 2nd. Mate, this is just an appetizer for 2020, I tell you.
Well, the scary thing is, Braxy, he's already indicated that he is ultra keen to come back for 2020, as are all of the Americans. They love Phillip Island, and Steve Martin loves turn 10. What an overtaking manoeuvre there for bike number 99.
What a squeeze there, and I'm just thinking that there's something wrong with Alex Phillips' motorcycle. He's going backwards at a greater rate of knots with these 2 marauding Suzuki, the Suzuki and Martin and Jed Metcher there in 2nd position. As they come down and get this should be getting close to the last lap, but there's nothing taking away from Josh Hayes, the American, the 4 times AMA Superbike champion, leading him away. At the moment, he's got a lead of just on 4 seconds as we look at the Suzuki replay of that move by Steve Martin so late in the weekend and still having the tenacity to pull one off.
Well, I wonder if he's actually doing the sums and he knows what the situation is with the Ken Wootton points, because that was a big move. Aaron Morris has just lost another position on track and Steve Martin has moved up 1. The points has just changed around by 2. If Martin can get past Metcher, it could be Steve Martin walking away with the Ken Wootton Trophy for the highest individual point scorer in the international challenge races.
But look at this, Steve Martin. But Alex Phillips hasn't given up by any shot at the moment. He is right on the ducktails of these guys in the battle for 2nd, 3rd and 4th, but take nothing away from the man up front. Josh Hayes, he got away from the start and he just left them standing.
Well, he said at the beginning of the weekend, Braxy, that his eyes were closed through turn 1 and several other areas around the circuit. I reckon they're wide open at the moment. He would be loving this as he puts a lap on one of the unfortunate backmarkers and comes up towards the top of Lukey Heights for the final time. This 3-bike battle now sees Steve Martin in the lead. That could be enough, Braxy, if he can hold that to the line, but he's in the position where he's going to offer a slipstream to both Jed Metcher and Al Phillips. Martin is safely through turn 10, and could he be on his way to the Ken Wootton Trophy for the first time?
He could well be with that late braking manoeuvre. He nearly went grass cutting. There was that tight a line as they come on to turn 11 through turn 12 for the final time of 2019. Josh Hayes has already got the checkered flag, but who's going to get second as Hayes comes down Gardner Straight? It's Steve Martin from Jed Metcher, Alec Phillips, but it's Steve Martin that's going to take second and maybe the Ken Wootton Perpetual Trophy.
Yeah, I think Al Phillips may have just snuck up into third place to take good points for Team New Zealand, but nothing can deny the man on screen, Josh Hayes, from the first American to win an international challenge race and top points, all 40 of them for Team USA.
And he'd be ruining that race 3, well, the non-event when he finished 14th. But he's a very happy man. As you said, Phil, he's coming back next year. Pridmore will recover from injury and he'll come back next year. It'll even be a stronger USA team. It'll be a stronger Australian team, a stronger New Zealand team. Can't wait for 2020.
Well, congratulations to the Mojo Yamaha crew from Team USA taking the final race victory. They've been especially fast all weekend and they've had the specially freighted out Dunlop tyres all the way from the USA, the team's favourite choice of rubber here this weekend. Steve Martin will take the overall on board bike number 99 and he'll be pretty happy with that as well. The final race, it's all Joshua Hayes on board bike number 4 from Steve Martin and Al Phillips, Jed Metcher in 4th, Sean Giles in 5th and Larry Pegram, another great ride to round out the top 6. Michael Gilbert got better all weekend and watch out for him in 2020. John Reynolds in 8th, Aaron Morris in 9th and Mark Miller, another top 10 performance from the fastest ever American around the Isle of Man TT circuit. Dean Orchard, 13th place for Team Australia. Barrett Long, good points once again for Team USA as well. And their captain, Dave Crussell, finished in the top 20 on board his Yamaha TZ. Let's have a look now at the Suzuki highlights at the very exciting Race 4, the final outing of the weekend here at the 26th International Island Classic for the International Challenge races. And just after the start, Josh Hayes had gone and the rest of the field were left to sort out their own places because you can see there Josh Hayes has already got a fantastic lead on the first lap as they made their way down towards Siberia. He just continued to extend that lead in the entire race. But the battle for second, third and fourth position went all the way to the flag. Al Phillips, Jed Metcher and Steve Martin constantly swapped positions and with it their overall points for the Ken Wootton Trophy. Aaron Morris, as he had these gearbox issues, dropped back through the field, unable to maintain the pace at the front, and at this stage was still leading the overall individual point score. Martin went 1 point ahead when he got the better of Al Phillips at turn 10, and then 1 point in the lead of the International Challenge individual point score as he came round onto the start-finish straight on board bike number 99 to take out second place behind the rampant Josh Hayes, and Al Phillips used the slipstream of Jed Metcher to take third in the best points of the weekend for Team New Zealand.
What can I say? That was absolutely fantastic. Having some good battles out there in the scraps, I can see.
Oh, it was just it's been a great weekend for me, really. I mean, like, for me and for Team Australia, it's unbelievable. I've done this event for a few years now and I've sort of struggled, but something, I don't know what happened because I didn't do anything different, but it's all really working well. We've had a lot of help with the bike this weekend. I just want to, thank everybody that's helped us to get to where we are and to make me feel comfortable on the bike. It's been fantastic.
I was texting with Jason Pridmore, who's really the team leader in this deal, right up to the race, and I really wanted to do a good job for him and just tell him thank you for getting me involved in this with Dave Crussell and the rest of the crew. Those guys did such good work putting all this together, and we were so lucky to have some people get behind us like American Dunlop. Yes. They brought in race tires for us, and they supported this in a big way, and you could see how good they performed whenever we sorted out the little gremlins in the motorcycle. That's the best it's been all weekend in that last race, and it shows what we're capable of doing.
Steve Martin took the overall winners in the Ken Wootton Trophy from Aaron Morris and Josh Hayes in third. It's scary what he is capable of doing. Look out in 2020. Sean Giles in fourth, Larry Pegram in fifth, and Michael Gilbert, a top result from him in sixth position. Australia took out the International Team Challenge on 676 points ahead of Team USA on 634 and Team New Zealand third with 460 points. Congratulations to Team Australia taking the trophy for the International Challenge for the second year in a row, and there was a large crowd on hand to congratulate all members of the team as they took to the podium to get their trophies. Of course, also rewarded was the Ken Wootton individual trophy winner, Steve Martin on board bike number 99, who won the trophy for the first time with a 2-point advantage over Aaron Morris. Steve was joined on the podium by his children to celebrate the win, and now joins Emma Notafrancesco to sum up a successful weekend.
Well, what a fantastic weekend of racing, sensational battles, and a big congratulations to yourself, Steve Martin, and to Team Australia for taking home that trophy.
Yeah, what a weekend it's been. I mean, it's just incredible to be part of it. I just can't believe that we've done it again. It wasn't easy, though. You never know until the last minute when these things, and, you know, just thank you to everybody that made it possible.
Well, congratulations. It was great seeing you out on the track again. We hope to see you down here next year. It's going to be even bigger and better.